Hi there everybody, it's Verity here from inkybutterfly.wordpress.com. Thank you for joining me again today for another card making tutorial. And today it's my project that I'm sharing as part of the design team for the Inspire.Create.Challenges. This time we are using a sketch as our platform to make our projects. It's a bit of a funny sketch, to be fair. There'll be a picture of it in the corresponding blog post, but it had this it's got this panel at the top, and I really wasn't sure where I was going to go with it at all, but come up with something in the end using designer series paper. So this is one of the papers that is in the mini catalogue. Last time I looked it was still available, so just don't forget that mini catalogue is still going. But things may start to sell out as we're getting to the end of that catalogue run, which is the end of June. Okay, so just look out for that. I think it's called World of Good, if memory serves me correctly. And of course I don't have the packet in front of me to go and check that, but I do believe it is called World of Good. But I am teaming it up with something completely different, in that I'm going to use the Dragonfly Garden, just to bring in something, a fun element, and this new set called Biggest Wish for the thanks. Okay, so it's something a bit more masculine without being with a bit of bling and stuff. So that's it. With these particular pieces here, I've tried to cut it so that it doesn't look like the world map. So on here you can see that it has got the continents on the background, but I think these strips, unless you're looking real super careful, don't obviously look like the map of the world, which is what they're supposed to represent. But this is what we're using today. So I've got loads of bits and pieces here to show you and cut up and all that kind of stuff. So we're going to go with the double whammy. We're going to do two in one, just because, you know, we want to live dangerously, right? So this is what I mean about that piece of paper. It does have the continents on there, and then we've got this paper, which it is black, but it's kind of a dull black. So I've actually brought in early espresso for the other card base rather than the mossy meadow. So this is, and it's the same piece of paper but the other side. Okay, so this project was just, I kind of call them inside out cards, because we're using the same paper to create all of the elements that complement them. And we can get too far, basically. So I'm just going to get these layers on with some seal. Okay, just making sure we get everything the right way around. So yeah, so I've already mixed them up, haven't I? Or did I do the contrasting one? That was right, yeah. So the contrasting one goes on onto these. Okay, yeah, that's right. So the mossy meadow main piece is going on early espresso. Just lining that up. So that's a regular, what I call a regular card layer. So that's 4 inches by 4 3/4 onto a regular card base cut from A4 cardstock. And this is the same. This is a mossy meadow card base. Okay, those are the colours. Well, that is the green in this. I've brought in the espresso. Card base is done. So from those other bits of paper, I then cut a strip here. So this is all cut from the same piece of designer series paper. So just reminding myself, this is 1 1/4 inches. Which is just over 3 centimetres. So that's the bit I'm going to put at the top for each of these. Okay, Those look a bit wide as well, which is it's probably because, do you know what I did? I probably put it on the paper and then trimmed it down to make sure it was all nice and flush, so we're going to have to cut those down. And then the other strips I've got, I think it's just 1/4 of an inch. Is it 3/4 of an inch? It's 1/2 an inch, that's what it is, 1/2 an inch strip for the bottom there. Okay, and then we've got some scraps that we can do our stamping on. So this has been cut so that it fits the thanks stamp just nicely, which I think is 1 1/4. Yep. Then we've just got enough cut that's big enough for the dragonfly to be stamped onto. Okay, so that's those bits there. So we're going to bring in the trimmer then, evidently, to just bring those down. So gives me an opportunity to show you the trimmer anyway, doesn't it? So my lights are going to be, I think that's okay in terms of glare, just looking, peeking over the top of there. So just need to make sure I cut that down to 4 inches, and it's only going to be the merest of pieces, but this trimmer really will cut down the smallest of pieces, so there's no bother there doing that. And I'm going to make that by the right way because it'll match up top and bottom then. Just want to be mindful that the little pieces don't end up in the caught in the track of the trimmer. And it is literally just a hair off, but it's okay. And if you do get a bit of a frayed bit, we can just do a little bit of manual surgery on there as well. So sometimes the skinny bits just fray a little bit. There we go. So all our pieces are the right width now. And we can get those added. Again, we'll just use our stamp and seal. It's nice and quick. I like quick and not messy, generally speaking. So we'll do that and that. Just rubs off. I'm going to put this somewhere around there. I'm not measuring it. I don't really think we want to measure everything every time. Just when necessary. I'll put that at the top there. Okay, so that's that bit. Same with this one. It's a bit more obvious that this one is part of the map, but it's fine. Really doesn't matter. And again, it's going somewhere there, not measuring it. So that was the card sketch, really. Okay, that was how it looked on the sample that we got to work from, and then the rest was just to add a bit of decoration, really, rather than leaving it flat. I think some of the others have done something similar. They've created their card bases using the sketch and then done something different to jazz it up. So we're going to bring in all sorts of things now, because we're going to do some heat embossing. So that's our dragonfly that we're going to have to stamp in Versamark ink, so it's our clear watermark ink that we can use for embossing. And then I've got this little tray that I like to use just to catch the powder on these things, and then I've got my heat tool off to one side, okay? And when we'll bring it in, I'll explain exactly what we're doing. So the dragonfly then, I've cut this down, not the stamp, the cardstock has been cut down, so it just fits this quite nicely so that we can get our punch in. To cut that out afterwards. There is a coordinating punch with this stamp. So light tapping on the ink pad to get those dragonflies put in place. Press firmly on there. Okay. And then we can bring in our powder. This is Stampin' Up embossing powder. It just happens to be in the old packaging with the blue lid, because that's how long I've had it, because it lasts ages. You won't be you don't run out of powder very quickly. So even though I've tipped all that out, it's all going to go back in the pot. Okay, so there's our powder on the actual stamped image there, and it doesn't shine at all, but it's ready and in place. Okay, do the same with this one. It is slow drying, so that you do have some time just to get that on. Just tapping it slightly just to make sure all the little excess speckles are removed. It's not so important with this because we're going to punch it out, but it's just a good sort of rule of thumb there, so we can get that tidied away, ready for when we do our sentiment. So I'm just going to heat set these first and then do the same with the sentiment. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to let you watch that on mute and speed it up a bit. So you'll see me do my sentiment stamp and heat emboss. So I'm going to get the heat tool really good and hot. I'm going to waft it over the back, and then to get it warm, and then go to the front and finish off the embossing on there. So hopefully you'll get to see that. Okay, so it's going to go quiet for a minute while I do that heat embossing, because it's really loud otherwise. Okay, bear with me a sec, back in a moment. Rightio then, we've got our heat embossed elements there. So like I say, the the dragonflies we can punch out. Sometimes the heat will warp your cardstock. Well, I say all, sometimes it almost always will. You minimise that by heating on the back first, so you may have seen how much the sentiments in particular curled when I heated on the back, and then they flatten out again when you go onto the front, so that's one way to minimise the warping of the cardstock. Okay, so there's our 2 dragonflies ready and done. Our sentiments, we are going to we're going to use our tailored tag punch to make our banner end on this. Okay, so this is a real neat trick. So if you push your cardstock in and just line that up in there, then you get a really nice banner end to your sentiment. So we'll do that ×2. You can make it asymmetrical if you want. There are lots of ways to cut banner ends. Ooh. Let's get that held in place. There we go, so that one's not quite straight, but it's fine. Just having a moment trying to hold on to my punch and show you guys at the same time. So there we are, and then we can just trim down our sentiments again using the trimmer, so we can see through the track here, so we can see exactly where we're cutting, and we can just trim that down a little bit. Just lining it up, I can see where it is, so that's going to be a nice straight edge for us. Really love the trimmer. This is all going up on dimensional, so we'll just put one on the back of each of the bodies on the dragonflies, and a couple on our sentiments. Easy peasy. Really quick layout, really. So the green background has the espresso elements on it, so you can really play with whatever you put in the middle of this. Really, just wanted something a bit different, using a whole heap of other stuff. We'll have him going off this way, shall we? They're going the other way on the other cards. Doesn't matter. It's your card. You choose how you want to position that. You may want to banner off the other end of the sentiment and have it over there, or whatever you like. It's your card. You do what you want. This is merely a serving suggestion. That's what they call those things on the packages, aren't they? Of, you know, these food packages. There we go. So they're flying off in those directions on these ones. Okay, so just to sort of compare those two side by side. Okay. Okay. And then the original and the one I've made with you today. Okay. So there you go. Now you could make that quite easily with any designer series paper. Mix and match your colours, do your thing, and come up with something entirely different. Okay, but this is what I've offered you today. Like I say, it's my serving suggestion of how you could use this sketch. Hope you've enjoyed it. There's been a few little tips along the way, bit of heat embossing, which is always a bit of fun. Okay. All the products will be linked in the description. Please do click through and you'll see that there's a blog post, and all the other design team projects will be on there too, so you can go and see what they've done. So I'm sure there'll be lots of different interpretations on this particular sketch. Okay guys, that's it for me today. Stay safe, take care, and bye bye.